April 30th, 1980. A day like any other in London. Then at 11:30 a.m., the world changed suddenly. Right here at 16 Prince's Gate, 6 men, armed, desperate, prepared to die. Why were they to take such drastic actions? It was their homeland, an oil-rich region of Iran called Khuzestan, long oppressed by the Shah, then by the Ayatollahs. They dreamed of freedom for their people. These 6 men called themselves the Democratic Revolutionary Front for the Liberation of Arabistan, and they were backed by Saddam Hussein, whose elite Republican Guard had trained them. Their plan? Make Iran bleed in London. At exactly 11:30 a.m., a blue Mercedes sedan rolls to a stop across the street from the Iranian embassy in South Kensington. Before the vehicle fully stops, 6 armed men burst out and sprint across the pavement. They are armed to the teeth with Kalashnikovs, Browning high powers, Scorpion machine pistols, and grenades. They fire into the air as they hit the front door. They shout in Arabic, terrifying all within. They met initially by the embassy security, a lone officer, Police Constable Trevor Locke. He's armed, but his weapon is concealed and inaccessible. The attackers force him to the ground before he can respond, but not before he secretly presses the panic button on his police radio. Now, Scotland Yard is alerted that something dire has happened. Executing their plan, the gunmen herd embassy staff and visitors. 26 people are captured, some dragged out of offices, others from hiding places behind furniture. Amongst the hostages is BBC journalist Sim Harris. Meanwhile, at the SAS base in Herefordshire, troops are running drills inside the infamous Killing House, constantly preparing for the day they are about to discover has come, perfecting close-quarter combat techniques for the ordeal ahead. The pager they wear 24/7 goes off. Is this just another test? According to a stark one-line message, no, this is the real thing. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Rose takes command of the ground operation and orders them to gather their gear. The SAS arrived in London just hours later. The embassy is already surrounded by a police cordon and watched by the cameras of the press from every angle. Negotiations have been ongoing. Awan Ali Mohammed, the group's leader, has made his demands. The release of 91 Arab prisoners in Iran, safe passage out of the UK, and public recognition of their cause. Scotland Yard negotiators have been talking for hours on the phone and will do so for days. But the cause seems hopeless. They're trapped between a conflict between Iran and Iraq and a hostile foreign power in Iran and its own insurgency. While negotiators stall, MI5 begins covert surveillance. Listening devices are secretly installed in the embassy's walls, covered by the roar of jets, flights that have been rerouted from Heathrow to fly low over the embassy, which drowns out the sound of the drilling. Floor plans are minutely examined. Hostage locations are guessed at. Every door, window, stairwell, and blind corner is studied for a potential assault. SAS teams have begun their rehearsal in earnest. This is one show where there can be no repeat performances. Assault over and over using a detailed full-scale mock-up of the embassy. They're waiting for one thing, the call to action. The operation is codenamed An Ancient God of Death. On May 5th, after 5 days of tension, there is a dramatic change. The gunmen snap. A message from Iran's foreign minister is received, praising the hostages' bravery, implying that martyrdom is expected. This seems a dire warning that Iran has abandoned its hostages and is provoking the hostage-takers. Suddenly, at 1:45 p.m., several gunshots are heard. 5 hours later, a man's body is dumped at the front door of the embassy. It's Abbas Lavasani, an embassy press officer. It will later be revealed he had been defiant, openly criticizing the terrorists to their faces. It had cost him his life. The group now ratchets up the threat and threatens to execute a hostage every 30 minutes. Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher convenes her war cabinet and issues Lieutenant Colonel Rose his final clearance for Operation Nimrod. The SAS is going in. The assault has been meticulously planned. The assault force is split into 2 teams, red and blue. Red team will fast rope from the roof and breach from above, clearing the upper floors. Blue team will enter from the rear garden, assaulting the basement, ground floor and first floor. Windows will be breached with explosive charges and in some cases, sledgehammers. Breaches must happen simultaneously to maintain vital shock value and prevent militants from executing hostages in retaliation. 7:23 p.m. Preparation order Hyde Park is transmitted. Teams prepare for action. 2 minutes later, London Bridge. The go order. Red team is descending when Warrant Officer Tommy Goodyear's rope snags on a balcony hook. He's suspended in full view of the windows, unable to move. Red's entry has stalled, a delay at the very start of the operation. With Goodyear hanging in front of the window, the use of explosive breaching charges is scrapped to save his life. Instead, the team improvises and smashes the glass with the butts of their submachine guns, then tosses in stun and CS grenades. The curtains ignite. Sergeant Tommy Palmer bursts in through smoke and fire. His gas mask sets alight. He rips it off, ignoring the gas. As he enters, he spots a militant pouring kerosene on the floor. The militant attempts to flee to the telex room, where the majority of the male hostages are held. Palmer pursues him. Palmer raises his MP5, takes aim, and the gun jams. With practiced reflexes, he drops it and draws his backup Browning pistol and drops the militant with a single headshot before he can pull the grenade pin. But by now, the other 3 militants guarding the telex room have been alerted to what's happening. The moment they hear gunfire, they start indiscriminately shooting into the hostages. 1 man is killed instantly. 2 more are wounded before the SAS can respond. Palmer's team reacts instantly. They toss a stun grenade into the room, disorienting the terrorists, and then they breach. 1 militant is caught immediately, standing, and is taken out with a clean burst. The other 2 duck down to hide amongst the hostages, blending into the chaos, preparing to strike. As one rises to throw a grenade, he is dropped instantly by a short burst of fire. The room is now secured. They begin the evacuation, but are not aware that 1 militant still remains. Meanwhile, on the first floor, Blue team detonates a frame charge and storms the balcony rooms. Hostages hit the floor. The team advances, clearing 1 room at a time. Stumbling across PC Trevor Locke in a life-or-death struggle with Awan wrestling on the carpet. Locke cannot reach his concealed small revolver. An operator charging in, shoving Awan aside, and a second operator squeezes off a short burst, killing Awan. At the same time, Staff Sergeant Peter Winner leads Blue team through the ground floor and into the cellar. Stun grenades are deployed. Movement in the corner, a shadowed figure. Winner unloads his full magazine before realizing he's terminated a dustbin. Upstairs, female hostages are discovered unharmed in the cipher room by Red team. Now, all teams converge on the central stairwell for evacuation, perhaps the most dangerous part of the operation. SAS operators are moving hostages down the stairs like a human conveyor belt. When SAS soldier Peter Winner sees something amiss, he spots 1 man clutching something. Instantly spotting he's a terrorist and almost certainly has a grenade, Winner doesn't hesitate. Using his sophisticated German carbine as a simple club, he thumps the man with the stock, sending him tumbling down the stairs. SAS operators at the bottom open fire and neutralize him instantly. In the chaos of the evacuation, operators are now literally throwing hostages down the stairs between operators. It's brutal, but it saves lives. Seconds count. And with good cause. 1 final militant tries to blend in with the evacuees, but BBC's Sim Harris recognizes him. The militant is grabbed and cuffed. Lone survivor. It feels like a lifetime, but it's only taken 17 minutes from start to finish. 25 hostages rescued, 5 militants dead, 1 captured. The SAS returned to their temporary HQ as swiftly as they arrived. It's time for celebration of a successful operation and debriefing and some drinking. Prime Minister Thatcher walks in, unannounced. She smiles, says there's nothing sweeter than success. Then she raises a can of beer in a toast to them. The men cheer, but the moment is short. The mission had been clinical, lethal, and precise success as the world watched it unfold live. Operation Nimrod saved lives and made the SAS a legend.